Hi everyone, thank you all for joining us and coming together from near and far for the 32nd Annual Candlelight Walk in the Redwoods. We're so excited to have you here and we so wish we could be together in person. But as we can't, David and I will be doing our best to keep our friends and family safe and wearing our masks when we are not talking. So thank you again for joining us for this very special event. I know some of you, myself included, this might be your very first candlelight walk experience, and I'm so excited to see what unfurls for all of us this evening. As the name suggests, the candlelight walk has been a tradition here in the Redwood region for 32 years. I don't think I need to tell you this, but traditions, they're important.
Especially this time of year.
Yeah. They are a reminder of the very best this world has to offer. They give us something to look forward to, something to celebrate, and they are very often the anchors and cornerstones of our lives. But in the midst of this pandemic, we are being asked, to adapt and change and make new traditions.
Yeah.
So as to keep our friends, families, and loved ones safe.
So traditionally, Candlelight Walk would be here, starting in the Prairie Creek Redwoods Visitor Center. I, like many of you, remember those days, and hopefully they'll come back again soon. Maybe next time we'll bring some more reindeer. But this gives us a gift of making a new tradition, so we can share this wonderful place and this wonderful experience with you.
As David kind of alluded to, the beauty of any tradition is not in the actual thing that we make or do, but it's more in the act of coming together and celebrating and doing the beautiful tradition together. So we thank all of you for coming together from all across this country to create a new tradition via this virtual format of the Candlelight Walk. Thank you again so much for coming and welcome. Just a few housekeeping reminders so we can all have the best experience possible this evening. David and I will be your luminary guides, so to speak, lighting the way forward this evening. And so if you need to reach us at any moment, we will be available via the chat feature in Zoom. You can contact us using the host and panelist only chat option, or if you're having any technical difficulties, please feel free to use the raise your hand feature. Other than that, thank you so much for being here. Grab your blankets, grab your cocoa, and curl up for a fun and festive evening.
So, we're coming to you tonight from the Prairie Creek Redwoods Visitor Center in Prairie Creek Redwoods State Park. And this park is part of a partnership of parks that make up Redwood National and State Park. And this visitor center is full of history and memories. It was built in the 1930s by the Civil Conservation Corps, the Depression-era work program. And the land that this visitor center sits on is the traditional indigenous Yurok land, and our Yurok friends are still here today. It also holds a lot of great memories for the last 32 years as the starting point for Candlelight Walk in the Redwoods, which we're doing tonight. So I'm still learning the 3-decade history of the Candlelight Walk. I do know that it all started with a state park ranger and his wife who wanted to share the park with people in the wintertime. And so they invited a small group here to walk along the Redwood trails with actual candles in their hands and down to the Fireside Center near here to share stories and songs and gather during the winter season. Now it has grown into what it is today, a great community event that encompasses the entire country and the world, that helps raise funds for all of the activities that we support at Redwood National and State Parks. And now we get to share it with people like you, wherever you are today.
As David mentioned, Prairie Creek Redwood State Park is just one of the many places that make this area so special. We will begin this evening mimicking the traditions from 32 years by strolling along the luminaria lit Revelation Trail right outside Prairie Creek Visitor Center. Along the trail, we will be joined by musicians and storytellers and folks from Redwood National and State Parks, as well as Redwood Parks Conservancy, as they share some of their favorite moments and memories of the Candlelight Walk experience in the past. From the Revelation Trail, we will be reconvening around a cozy campfire at the Fireside Center before we are transported away to a new trail, a first ever for the Candlelight Walk experience. And this trail we would never be able to go to at the in-person event. So we hope you enjoy this special surprise as much as we did. From that new trail, we will reconvene again here at the Prairie Creek Visitor Center before we say our final goodnights for the evening. We so look forward to spending the evening with you, strolling, sharing, and celebrating this holiday season. To kick things off this evening, we'll turn it over to the eyes, ears, and hearts of the park, National Park Superintendent Steve Metz and State Park Acting Superintendent Aaron Gates.
Welcome to the Redwoods. Thank you for joining us this evening to support Redwood National and State Parks. Through joining us today, you're helping the parks achieve its missions from educational efforts to underserved communities to working with the Yurok tribe to bring condors back to the Redwoods. My first candlelight walk was just after I arrived at the park, and it was the first time my kids got to experience the Redwoods at night. Walking in silence among hundreds of people through a dark forest with just the low light of the lanterns guiding us past these giants was a moving experience I will never forget. I hope you all have a similar unforgettable experience this evening.
Good evening. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. Regardless of how far you've traveled virtually, we understand that people are joining from states across the country and countries across the world, which makes sense because these magnificent trees that both Redwood National and State Parks and the North Coast Redwoods District is charged with protecting, they touch all of us, whether we are 5 miles away or 5,000 miles away. Redwood trees, the coast redwood, is the largest sequesterer or holder of carbon in the entire world. So what that means is these beautiful trees are our defense against things like climate change by breathing in our carbon, excess carbon in the atmosphere. So they're taking care of us. And by all of you being here tonight, you're helping to take care of them too. Redwood National and State Parks and the North Coast Redwoods District of California State Parks is so grateful for your support. Thank you for supporting these redwoods. Thank you for supporting our magnificent parks. We could not do this without you. This unique partnership between California State Parks and the National Park Service to protect over 130,000 acres of redwoods couldn't be done without additional partnerships like the one we have with Redwood Parks Conservancy and with all of you. We are so grateful for your support. Now have a wonderful evening in the Redwoods.
My candlelight story is from my very first candlelight walk. This was in 2019 when I first started working for the state. We were coming from the south, so I'm driving up to Prairie Creek. It is already dark because it's the dead of winter, and as per usual with the candlelight walk, it is pouring rain outside. So we finally come up here to Prairie Creek, and I haven't spent a lot of time in this park, so I'm pretty unfamiliar with where we're going. It's another coworker that's driving. We pull in. I don't even have a state park jacket yet. I had just started, so I'm wearing my personal rain jacket. And we come over to the visitor center here. We do the brief check-in with some people who I have no idea who they are. And everything's looking really quiet at this point. And the reason I had come along for this was to film and take some pictures and things like that. So I had just got a Subway sandwich on my way for lunch, and I took the plastic bag from the Subway sandwich, poked a hole through it to stick my lens through to try and make some makeshift waterproofing for the camera that I had out here. So then we start down the trail, walking out there, and you've got the little luminaries, so there's almost nothing you can see. It's pitch black. There's hardly anybody else out on the trail, and I kind of have no idea what's going on. I have no idea how far I'm walking. And so for me, it feels like we're walking in the woods for a really long time. It is pouring rain on us, but we finally start to see the campfire in the distance. You can hear some stories going on, and then we come out to the campfire center with all these people sitting around just listening to these really beautiful, awesome stories from these storytellers. Starting to feel a little bit more comfortable. We walk back, we get some footage, and then we come back into the visitor center, and it is warm, it is inviting. We have soup, hot drinks, everything like that. I see a couple people who I had gone to school with, so it was this really great reunion to kind of come together with all these people who I didn't even know were going to be here in the dark after this really strange kind of awkward start of walking out to the campfire and having no idea what was going on here. But really great experience to kind of start my state park career, and I really enjoyed that and will always hold that memory as a special part of the Candlelight Walk. We're going to walk down the trail here shortly, and as we do that, you're going to hear some really beautiful harp music from Julia Sheppard that'll guide us on our little walk here. So if you're ready, follow me, let's go.
Hello everybody, I'm Ranger Greg Litton. I'm an interpretive ranger here at Redwood National and State Parks. And I want to share with you my first time in the Redwoods at nighttime. And it was on the Candlelight Walk. My wife and I were fairly new to Humboldt at that time, and we'd been in the park plenty of times in the daytime, but not after sunset. And we joined with about 100 other visitors at the Prairie Creek Visitor Center, all bundled up against the rain, the cold, the fog, you know, a typical Humboldt evening. And we walked along the Candlelight Walk, a place of incredible enchantment at nighttime. But it was so dark. You looked up, you couldn't see the moon, you didn't see any stars, you didn't even see clouds, you certainly didn't even see the top of the redwood trees. What we did see were little candle luminaries along the trail, and billions of water drops swirling around our heads. It was cool. By the end of the evening, we had been enchanted and enraptured by the redwoods. These have been here for millions of years. They've got stories to tell. And it was very cool that winter's evening that we became part of that story. The Candlelight Walk is incredibly enjoyable. The redwoods are amazing. And that experience for me, it was not only important in my career, but it was just really special and part of my life.
Hi, I'm Marilyn Lincoln, chairperson for the Redwood Parks Conservancy. I want to thank you tonight for joining us here at the 2021 Candlelight Walk here at Prairie Creek Redwood State Park. We are so fortunate to be part of the redwood ecosystem in the protection, the restoration, the preservation, the education, and the recreational opportunities that its ecosystem provides. It is a spectacular ecosystem. So I hope you soon can get out and actually take a hike in person out in our redwood forest. But until then, enjoy tonight's program as we walk through the redwood forest by candlelight. See you soon.
Hi, I'm Martin Robbins, the Interpreter Program Manager for the North Coast Redwoods District. And I wanted to just take a moment to thank you for joining us for this candlelight walk. I know we can't be together in person this year, so I'm hoping that if you live on the North Coast, that you take some time to go and explore these beautiful trees yourself. And if you don't live anywhere in the area, I hope you make it a point to visit us in 2022. You know, this time of the year is my favorite time to be in the redwoods. Their roots are digging deep into the earth and rebuilding and regrowing for the year to come. We all have so much to learn from these trees, and I hope you find an opportunity to find solace and remember what life is really all about. Thanks again.
Welcome everyone to the Fireside Center here at Prairie Creek Redwood State Park. As David mentioned earlier, this event was started by a park ranger who wanted a program and celebration of the winter season here in Redwoods. He would gather a small group of folks and walk down these redwood trails as people held candles in their hands, hence the Candlelight Walk. And as they would share stories and connect over the happenings of the year. Now you may be wondering, David and I aren't park rangers.
Nope.
We don't have those cool hats.
No hats.
So why are we the ones that are hosting this event? Well, just like the history of this area and the partnership between the national and state parks, as this event grew and molded into a tradition, it became a partnership collaborated event. As such, Redwood Parks Conservancy is one of the official nonprofit partners for Redwood National and State Park. This event, the Candlelight Walk, acts as a fundraiser to support our partners and the amazing work they do here to support the Redwood region.
And now that you purchased your ticket or became a luminary sponsor, you're part of that work too. So congratulations. You're helping us to put junior ranger guides in little hands. You're helping rangers pin junior ranger badges on young explorers' shirts when they visit this park. You are helping us with endangered species work all around the parks that we serve. And you're doing 100 little things that wouldn't happen if it weren't for the support of people who love these redwood parks. So thank you.
From restoration and stewardship to enjoyment and education, the Redwood Parks and the work of our partners is filled with stories of love, connection, and care. Now, these stories aren't just about what happens here and all the facts about redwood trees, but rather they're stories of what happens here as a result of being here. Stories are integral to the meaning we create from our experiences and connect us to these special places. As such, we have a few folks this evening that would like to share some stories with you as a way to help create connection and meaning of this celebration and holiday season.
Storytelling has been a part of the Candlelight Walk since the very beginning, and Allie Freedlund, who is our first storyteller, has been part of finding other people like her to come to the Candlelight Walk for many, many years. Allie's going to actually join us live tonight from her home on the very edge of the North American continent in a little town called Petrolia, 90 miles south of here. We call it the Lost Coast. There are no highways to there. The Pacific Ocean is your nearest neighbor, and we're just so happy that she could join us and be with us and you. She's going to be giving her story on gifts of appreciation. So take it away, Allie.
Hi, this first story is called The Attitude of Gratitude. Hannah lived down a dirt, gravelly road, and she lived on what her daddy would call a stump farm in a trailer. She was 14 years old, but she figured she was only 10 years tall. So she was always trying to get to where she thought she should be. And that meant she was running all the time from here to there, bumping her head, getting her finger caught in doors, stubbing her toe. On top of that, she felt extremely unlucky. She had never known her mom, who died before she was very old enough to know her. And you'd think that she'd be sympathetic to other people who were down on their luck. Not a chance. Take old Leon, for instance. He lived down the road, the same road, all the way at the end. He lived in a wheelchair, and she avoided him like the plague. Well, wouldn't you know, her daddy was friends with Leon, and one day she came home from school, and there was a note on the table that said, "Dearest Hannah, your auntie fell down and is in the hospital, and you know how she feels about hospitals. I need to go hold her hand until tomorrow. So I arranged for you to stay with Leon for the night. Grab a few things and get on down there, and I will call you after dinner. Love, your dad." Oh, no. Why did he choose Leon? Why didn't he call Jill's mom? Oh, gosh. All right. So Hannah got a few things together, and she went on down the road. And, she didn't even notice the whole road was covered with nice, big redwood trees. She was just kicking the gravel all the way down in her misery. And she was in it. She didn't even know she crossed a creek. When she got to Leon's house, she kind of looked at it. There was a porch and a ramp, and she was not going to go up a wheelchair ramp, so she ran, only she kind of forgot she was wearing this heavy backpack. She ran, tried to get up on the high side of the porch, and fell down, bam, hit her shin, smacked herself on the floor. From inside the cabin, Leon said, "Hey, you all right?" Yeah, I'm just unlucky." "Well, come on in." Okay. So Hannah went in, and she put her stuff on the couch there, and she sat down. And then Leon said, "Hey, I've been waiting to meet you for a long time. Your daddy told me a lot about you. I'm so glad you're here." And she looked at Leon for the first time, and he had twinkly blue eyes, and he had this long white beard and this long gray braid, and she smiled, and then she looked at the rest of his twisted body, and she turned away. "Hey," Leon said, "how about you help me make a cup of tea, and we can, get to know each other." Okay. And so she raced up to the water faucet and put water in the tea kettle and slammed it on the stove and was looking around. "Hey, wait a minute. I didn't say to run a race or anything, did I? Slow down. It's going to be okay." Yeah, everybody tells me that. I was just looking for the matches. They're right over there. And teacups and tea bags. They're right over the cupboards over there, and at right there is the tea bags in that drawer. Okay, so she got it together. She made them both a cup of tea. Leon had a special mug because his hands were like this. And they got to talking. And then pretty soon, "Hey," Leon said, "that must be Wizard." And Hannah was like, "What?" "Well, I got a friend, a raven friend. His name's Wizard." "Oh, wow, really? Well, follow me, but you stay inside the house and just watch what I do." And so Leon had this remote control on his wheelchair. It was electric. And he kind of buzzed right by Hannah and then out the door and then onto the porch and then out into the gravel driveway. And Hannah kind of followed him, and she could see that he was fishing around in his pocket for something, and he kind of got something on there, and he kind of put it right there like this, and he held it out to Wizard. "Hey, Wizard, come get it." And from out of the top of this tall redwood tree come flying this black raven and come and swoop and got that breadcrumb or whatever it was. "Good job, Wizard." And Hannah was blown away. She ran out and said, "Oh, you are so cool. That's amazing. You have a raven friend." "Oh, well, someone brought him to me as a little tiny chick, but, hey, let's go for a stroll, or in my case, a roll." And for the next 2 hours. Leon and Hannah were checking out the place. He showed her where there was an old teepee burner where they used to log everything and throw all the slash. He showed her where the quail would come down and dust off. He showed her the apple tree where the deer came down. He told her about bobcats and foxes and sometimes even getting to see a bear. And pretty soon it was time to go back and make dinner, which they did together, him giving her directions and she following them, and she kind of started feeling necessary. And then after dinner, bring, bring. Oh, that's probably your dad. People don't call me you too much. Oh, okay. Hello? Yeah. Hi, Dad. How's Auntie? Yeah. No, we're fine. Okay. All right. Yeah, no, I need to go. Okay, bye. You see, Hannah just wanted to hang out with Leon as long as she could. And so they did some more talking and finding out about each other. And pretty soon, Leon's sister, Jane, she came over and she took Leon into the bedroom, his bedroom, and put him to bed. And yeah, well, that's a little bit more of a technical thing to talk about right now. But when she was done, she came out and she said, okay, it's your turn, Hannah. He wants to say goodnight to you. Oh, okay. And so Hannah went in and Leon was stretched out like this big, great eagle on his waterbed and looked just magnificent. And she said, hey, Leon. And he rolled toward her and he said, hey, Hannah. And she said, well, can I ask you a personal question? Is that all right? Well, sure. Well, do you ever feel unlucky? Well, of course I feel unlucky because I had an accident and now I'm a quadriplegic. Well, do you ever feel depressed because of that? Well, I used to feel a lot more depressed. And occasionally we all get depressed. It's just the way it is. But ever since I began a daily practice called the attitude of gratitude, I've kind of felt it pretty good and I just wake up different. Oh, do you want me to tell you how I do it? Oh, yeah, if you wouldn't mind. All right, well, every morning before the sun gets up and all that stuff, but as soon as I wake up, I should say, I open my eyes. No, I don't. I keep my eyes closed, and if I'd opened them, I close them, and then I take some deep breaths, really deep. And I do that 3 times or more. And then I go through my gratitudes. First one is always gratitude for the breath. It's what gives us life. Second one is always my body, just as it is, because it's the vessel that holds the breath. And then from then on, it can change from day to day. It's usually my family that has supported me so much, my friends. It's this place with these redwood trees. It's the critters that out there. It's the sun, it's the moon, it's the stars. And then when I'm done with my gratitude list for the day, I open my eyes and it's like opening presents because everything just turns on, magic, like the colors are bright, the smells are great, and I can hear better. And it's just amazing. I think you should try it. And that's the way I start the rest of my day, and it kind of stays with me. Oh, well, okay. I'll try that. All right then. Good night. You better get to bed because you got a longer walk tomorrow to get to the bus stop. Okay, Leon, thank you so much. And Hannah went to bed, and in the morning she woke up and then closed her eyes and took 3 deep breaths and then started going through her gratitude list. Her breath, her body, even though it was short, her dad, her friends, and now the new friend, Leon. And then she opened her eyes and she looked around and she did feel good. And so she basically got herself together, got her breakfast together, said goodbye to Leon, said, I'm going to come back and visit you, and went off with her backpack full of books to the bus stop, which was a long way down the road now, and went seeing the beautiful redwood trees and the ferns all bright and beautiful, and crossing the creek and watching the water and hearing it, and then oh, I better get going. Going down, humming to herself. And pretty soon, oh, wizard flying over right above her, right over her towards her, where the direction she was going. And she was like, wow, wizard. And she kept on going. And then out of the air came a black feather, just a twisting and a twirling. And Hannah snatched it out of the air and walked into the rest of her life grinning. The end.
Hi, this is Kathy Bonser. I've been closely involved with Redwood Parks Conservancy since 2006. I've served on the board of directors, I've been the executive director, and I've been a loyal member all that time. When I think of Candlelight Walk through the Redwoods, my memories include the wonderful auction packages that have brought tens of thousands of dollars in support of Redwood National and State Parks. And of course, I think of the luminaries, the hundreds of luminaries that light the Candlelight Walk. None of those memories would have been possible without the dedicated work of Redwood Parks employee Debbie White, who has energetically organized the event for over a decade and has been the sparkle behind what you see today. Thank you, Debbie, and I hope you and your family and everyone enjoying Candlelight Walk through the Redwoods, supporting Redwood National and State Parks, has a wonderful holiday season.
Hi, I'm Monda Hagan. I'm an interpretation ranger with Redwood National and State Parks. Oh, the Candlelight Walk is always the beginning of the holiday season for me. I love seeing everybody come together and dressed up in warm clothing, and maybe it's raining since we don't get snow here. The rainy season is kind of says holidays to me too, and everybody seems so excited and in such a great mood. And then we come out and we do this beautiful walk through the redwoods with the luminaries, and it's just I don't know, it's just such a good kickoff to the holiday season, and just the goodwill that seems to go on between everyone, and just this peaceful setting of the redwoods. I really love it, and can't wait till we can do it in person again.
The redwoods in the wintertime is such a special place. You know, with our redwoods being inside of a temperate rainforest, we get most of our precipitation in the rain. And to walk through these magnificent trees in a rainstorm is like being protected by a natural umbrella. You feel slight raindrops dripping down on you, but yet you're also being protected by these trees. And you're not getting as soaking wet as you would normally get if you were just walking through any forest. But a big thank you to all of you for being a part of Redwood Parks Conservancy, for joining us at this Candlelight Walk, and for letting the redwoods connect with you and with your heart.
you keep us all from harm. Wonderful redwood dream.
When I was a kid, I wanted to be a forest ranger. That was my goal in life. And I've always wanted to be a forest ranger or do something outdoors. I love the candlelight walks because it's a great time for the community to come together early in December. And I know a lot of the people that sign up and come here in person, and it's really fun to see people. I've done a few of these, probably 8 or 10 years, something like that. Yours pretty much, my duty has been the fire, putting it on and talking to the storytellers when they come in, and I really enjoy the candlelight walk.
As I mentioned earlier, we are creating a brand new tradition here together via this virtual format of the Candlelight Walk. Because it's virtual, we are able to offer you an experience that would have never happened before in the in-person event. Can you guess what it is? We are adding a brand new trail to this event. It's about 4 miles from here, so we have to head on over there, but it's known for its beautiful old growth redwoods and a trickling falls. Can you guess what trail it is?
I feel like I should say, tell them what they've won, Maggie. We do have to get over there to start filming. So in the meantime, we'd like to bring you another one of our storytellers. Ruth Rhodes is a Crescent City author and storyteller, and she is bringing you her wintertime story. And then after that, we'll hear from our harpist, Julia Sheppard, again.
Every Christmas, my mother would read me my favorite Christmas book, The Mole Family Christmas by Russell Hoban. Since my kids were born, I've been reading it to them every year too. It's a particularly good story for this year when hope is short. Like all fables, it's a story really that's about people. And in particular for this story, it's a story about resilience. Once upon a time, a family of moles lived beneath the garden of a house in the middle of the redwood forest. This house had been empty for many years, but one year a family moved in, and young Delver Mole tunneled up to see what was what. There he met a mouse dining on birdseed beneath the feeder. "Christmas is coming," said the mouse. "Christmas," said Delver. "What is Christmas?" "Several different flavors of wrapping paper, all manner of nesting materials, string, ribbons, and no rest at all until he's come and gone." "Until who's come and gone?" said Delver. "Fat man in a red suit," said the mouse, "white beard. He stomps all over the roof, comes down the chimney, leaves presents for everyone, and then leaves. He does it only once a year, so nobody seems to mind." "Presents," said Delver. "What kind of presents?" "Oh, toys, games, balls, dolls. The people children write him letters, and he brings them what they ask for." "Does he bring anything for animals?" asked Delver. "I don't know," said the mouse. "Of course, I've never asked for any." "Well, I've got to go. Old Ephraim Owl is about to make his rounds, and I don't want to get caught." As the mouse started to walk away, he said, "The stars certainly are beautiful tonight." "They are?" said Delver. "Where?" "In the sky. Where else?" And Delver looked up at the stars that he could not see because he was so nearsighted. He was still looking up when a lady mouse came over to the feeder to have a nibble. The stars certainly are beautiful, she said, the way they glimmer and shine. It's almost like singing. They certainly are, said Delver, looking up. Is there any particular way the people look at the stars? Said Delver. Well, I just look up, said the mouse. But you can use a telescope. What's a telescope? Said Delver. Well, it's like a very powerful eye. Look out, she said, and suddenly Ephraim Owl swooped down at them. She pulled Delver into the bushes, and they hid there while he called out, "Hoo-hoo! If not today, tomorrow, I'll dine upon you," and sped off on silent wings. Delver was pretty shaken up, so he tunneled back home, where he found his father, Harley Mole, rubbing tallow on some boots, and his mother, Emma Mole, mending some overalls. Delver began to polish his stone glass collection, but after a little while, he started to cry. "What's wrong?" said Harlan. "What is it, dear?" said Emma. "It's the stars," said Delver, and he told them about the conversation he'd had with the mouse. "I wanted to see the stars too when I was young, son." "But there are telescopes," he said. And he told them about the fat man in the red suit. "Maybe it's a people thing," said Harlan. "If we can make a chimney," said Delver. "I don't know if the fat man in the red suit will bring animals presents," said Emma, "but I do know how to make a chimney." So every night, the Mole family tunneled up and began work on a tiny animal-sized chimney, big enough so that the fat man in the red suit could put his hand in there and drop off the telescope. Delver wrote a letter, and he put it in the cleft of a stick that he drove into the ground. One night, just before the chimney was completed, old Ephraim Owl swooped down. He didn't catch the moles because they had gone to bed, but he picked up the letter in his talons and put it into the pocket of his waistcoat. "Hoo-hoo!" he said, "these fools. I don't know who the fat man in the red suit is, but I am going to dine upon moles sooner or later." Christmas Eve came around, and the moles finished their chimney late into the night. They were so exhausted that they fell asleep sitting on the chimney, 1, 2, 3 moles in a row. When old Ephraim Owl made his rounds, he saw them. "Hoo-hoo-hoo," he said, "a 3-course meal. I'll hoot very loudly, and then they'll run." "Woo-hoo," he said. But the moles didn't move. They were still fast asleep. Just then, a light snow began to fall on the top of the redwood trees, and the bells in the nearby town rang out Christmas Day. Old Ephraim Owl began to feel very jolly and full of fun inside. He said, "Wouldn't those moles feel silly if they woke up tomorrow morning and found themselves not eaten?" And so he decided not to eat them. "And," he said, "just for fun, I'll give that letter to the man up there in the sleigh. Maybe he knows the fat man in the red suit." And so it came to pass, on Christmas morning, the moles woke up feeling very silly indeed to find themselves not eaten, but with a beautiful new telescope beside the chimney. Ephraim Owl also found, when he woke up later that day, a beautifully wrapped necktie with a letter saying "Best regards from S. Claus." The next winter, all the little animals were able to enjoy the telescope. The mice and the moles constructed an observatory from the chimney that they had made using an upturned flower pot. Even the mice found that they enjoyed looking through a telescope. "Isn't it beautiful the way they glimmer and shine?" said Delver. "It is like singing." The animals began to think that everyone should use the chimney that year, and they began to write their letters to the fat man in the red suit. Even Ephraim Owl composed a letter, but being somewhat more knowledgeable, he addressed it to S. Claus.
Hi there, my name's Angie and I'm an interpreter for California State Parks up in the North Coast Redwoods District. I just wanted to say thank you all so much for attending the virtual Candlelight Walk this year and for your support of RPC and of our parks. To me, redwood forests represent the ultimate connection of land and sea, and they're a reminder that healthy coastal communities can't exist without a healthy ocean. And every day they remind me that we're a part of something so much bigger than ourselves. So I hope you enjoy the Candlelight Walk this year, and we'll see you soon.
Hi, I'm Lindsay Ryder.
And I'm Grace. And I'm Rial.
And I'm on RPC's board of directors because it's important to me that we help connect people to the redwoods, and people value and protect what they love. The redwoods are such a unique ecosystem, and walking among them truly puts life into perspective. The Candlelight Walk is one of our favorite holiday traditions. Grace, what's your favorite part about the Candlelight Walk?
Well, I like how beautiful it is, and I like walking along the trail of light, and I like all of the fresh air. I just love it.
Well, we'll miss being able to be there in person this year. We're happy to be able to share this evening virtually with all of you.
Happy holidays! Happy holidays!
This story is called The Gift. In the darkest parts of the year, when the family all gets together for the holy day, it's a feastly celebration, and there's a long table full of sumptuous things to eat and delicious things to drink, and everybody has a setting at the table, and at every setting there is a gift. You see, with this family's tradition, they choose one person's name out of a hat, and they choose to put all their crafty intentions and make something or give them something special once a year. And then they all sit down, and the elders go first, all the way down to the youngest. And Waylano was getting so excited because it was now his sister Hecany's turn to open her gift. He was excited because he had chosen Hecany, and he had made this amazing madrone berry necklace and had carved little wooden beads that went in between the madrone berries, and then put it on some thread that could go around her neck. And she was opening it right now, and he was watching. Oh, Waylano, I love it! She put it on her head and she said, "I'm going to wear it forever." And Waylano blushed and then waited until it was his turn to open his package. And his package was a little bigger. And when it was his turn, he started opening it real careful from Uncle Rendip. Oh my goodness, he picked it up. Uncle Rendip's favorite knife, the one he wears all the time, and the carved handle. Uncle Rendip, wait. He remembered Uncle Rendip was blind, so he ran around the table, threw his arms around Uncle Rendip and said, "Thank you, Uncle Rendip. This is the most precious gift I've ever gotten. Thank you so much." And then he sat down and they had dinner. And so the way the tradition went is after you got a gift, within a week's time, you needed to give an appreciation gift. Just something, even a painted card or something like that, basically to tell the person who'd been working hard at their gift to let them know that you appreciated it. And as the saying goes, if you didn't do that, then you should return the gift. Well, 3 days after Hecany had opened her gift and everybody had opened their gift, Hecany gave her appreciation gift to Waylano. And it was this beautiful elk hide scabbard that the knife fit in just perfectly and fit nice, snug, and sweet around his waist, and he could carry it everywhere. Oh, Waylano thought, "Gee, thank you, Hecany, but this feels better than the madrone berry necklace that I gave you." "Oh, don't worry," said Hecany. "That's just because I had the leather. You don't worry now. That was just going to fit perfectly your knife, so go on." And then Waylano thought, "Oh no, I really got to come up with a good appreciation gift. I'll go ask my mom." And so, "Mom, can you help me with an appreciation gift for Uncle Rendip?" Well, he carried that knife, everywhere. Nobody could even touch it because he always had it on, and he carved so many things, and well, he always took it fishing and hunting. "Oh, maybe I should get him a mess of fish then and bring it back to him." Well, maybe I should give him a bunch of rabbits. You think that would be better? Well, how about both? Yeah, well, Waylano, those are really great ideas. I think that's a great idea, but I want to tell you, remember, the best part about going fishing and going hunting is walking there in the early morning through the forest, right? Yeah? okay. And so Waylano thought about it, and then he had it. And he ran over to Uncle Rindip's house and he said, Uncle Rindip, Uncle Rindip. And Uncle Rindip was in his rocking chair and he was just sitting on the porch. Hey, I want to take you on a walk tomorrow to the river where we go fishing. Oh, Uncle Rindip said, you know, I'm blind and I haven't been down that trail in a long, long time. Oh, I know, and I'll be your guide. I'll take care of you. Well, okay, I'll try it, but I don't want to fall. Oh no. And so Waylano went out down that trail and moved some things out of the way and looked at it all. And next morning, got up real early, centered himself, went to Uncle Rindip's house. Uncle Rindip, I'm ready. Okay, let's go. And so Uncle Rindip took his elbow and Waylano basically slowed down and said, okay, 3 steps. And then you need to go uphill a little bit and then downhill. Oh, and now you got to bend down low so you don't hit that branch. Okay, good. And then you got to put your foot up high to get over that log. Okay, good. Oh, look, here's a redwood tree. Uncle Rindip put his hands on that soft, spongy bark. Hello, redwood tree. And then they went a little bit further, and Waylano was real careful to tell him every step of the way. Oh, look, here's a Doug fir tree. And Uncle Rindip put his hands on the Doug fir tree, that sort of like shaggy, crackly bark. Hey, Doug fir, it's been a while. And then they went further down the trail, and basically Waylano telling Uncle Rindip all about it. He picked up some dirt and had Uncle Rindip smell it. Yeah, I remember all this. And they finally got down to the river, and Uncle Rindip splashed his face with some water. And then Waylano took out his fishing pole and went fishing. And as soon as he caught one, he brought that flopping fishy thing back to Uncle Rindip and laughed. Woohoo! Uncle Rindip laughed too. Well, what is the colors? What's the colors on it? And Waylano says it's got a beautiful yellow stripe with a little pink stripe. Oh, it's a golden trout. Well, that's great. That's why it's so small. And then he picked up a rock and smacked it on the head and killed it, took the little hook out, and he said, Waylano, can I have my knife back for just a minute? And Waylano said, yeah, sure. And he gave him the knife, and expertly Uncle Rindip sliced and gutted that fish, and then Waylano handed him a stick to put the fish on. And that's how it went for 4 more fish. And so pretty soon they were walking back real slow, and they went and made breakfast together, fried fish with biscuits and gravy. But before they started to eat, Uncle Rindip said, Waylano, give me your hands. And Waylano gave him his hands, and Uncle Rindip said, this was the best gift ever. I hadn't been to see my forest in a long time, and you know what? I could see it through your eyes. It made me feel so good again. Well, thanks, Waylano. I just wanted to appreciate you. Oh, for sure. And you know what? Waylano came back time and time again and took Uncle Rindip hunting and fishing and just going out to see the trees. The end.
Welcome everyone to our super special feature of this year's Candlelight Walk. We are currently at the trailhead for none other than the Trillium Falls Trail. It is one of my personal favorite trails here in the park as it meanders through a beautiful stand of old growth redwoods and comes to a waterfall known as none other than Trillium Falls.
Makes sense.
Yeah. It is absolutely beautiful, and I hope you enjoy your walk through here. And as we walk, we will be joined by the resonant, beautiful glitters of Julia's harp once again. So sit back, relax, enjoy the music, enjoy the beauty, and savor your experiences that we've had together this evening.
Yeah, and this is a special treat for us too, because we could never do the in-person candlelight walk on a trail like this. You're going to be climbing up through ancient redwoods lit by luminaries. Some of the trees that you're going to be walking past are maybe 1,000 years old, but we couldn't take folks, maybe a few hundred of you, up this trail in the dark. So we hope you enjoy it. We'll be back with you at the Visitor Center. We're going to go back there now, but enjoy Trillium Falls Trail. Wow, that is an amazing trail.
Thank you all again so much for joining us here this evening. Remember, the Candlelight Walk experience is not over just when we say goodnight. We also have a live auction that you can find the link over on our Facebook page. It started this morning, and it will be ending at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time or midnight for our East Coasters on December 18th. We have so many fun prizes as well as experiences and places to visit, so we hope you check it out. And remember that all of the proceeds from this auction do go back to our partners here in Redwood National and State Park and to their amazing environmental, education, and restoration projects. So enjoy some friendly competition and get on bidding because you're supporting the Redwood National and State Parks.
Well, we hope you've enjoyed the 32nd running of the Candlelight Walk in the Redwoods here at Prairie Creek Redwood State Park. It doesn't stop here. As we just said, we are going to send you an email with a link to get the full recorded version of tonight's show. Please send it to your friends. Show them this place, show them this evening, and share it. We know that a lot of folks tonight are thinking of loved ones that maybe aren't with you right now, or maybe we've lost this year, or just friends and family that we can't be with. Well, with those friends that you can get to, please send this on, and thank you. Know that you helped us support this great program. We'll also have a lot of other ways to connect with the park. We've got 360-degree video, VR videos. There's virtual reality walks through some of the trails we were on today that you'll also be able to access. We've got all that and more, so you can experience more of Redwood National and State Parks.
And we'd finally just like to say thank you one more time to the people who sponsored this event and made this whole thing possible. It's not just David and I. There's so many people that put in their heart, energy, time into this event. So we thank you, all of them, as well as those of you who purchased luminary sponsors and pay it forward tickets, so that those people from across this country that would not otherwise be able to revel in the magic of the Redwoods got to experience this candlelight walk with us this evening. So thank you.
We sincerely, really from the heart, thank you for your time tonight and also for your financial support, of course, but also for the love and connection that you have hopefully made with this park and all the parks that we support and this event. Hopefully it'll inspire you to come back to Redwood National and State Parks, or if you've never visited, maybe this will be the memory that you need to bring you out here for the first time. Thank you so much for being part of this place. You are now a part of the Redwoods, and thank you for being part of the Candlelight Walk this year.